This audio is summary of my book, The Roots of Human Conflicts, Faith, Civilization, Power, and Economy. We start session 1 with an introduction. In every era of humankind, the same question has echoed in hearts before being written down. Why do conflicts arise among people? Is it an inevitability of nature, or is it a misunderstanding? Is it the will to power, or the absence of conscience? From the earliest times, wars have been intertwined with sacred, trade with faith, and the pursuit of justice with a race for wealth and dominance. Thus, every civilization was born between the flame of inspiration and the fire of greed. Every civilization begins with the question, why are we here? Humanity has searched for that answer. In temples and laboratories, in philosophy and poetry, in revelation and reason. We built monuments to our gods and machines to our progress, hoping that one of them would quiet the uncertainty within us. Yet, the more we mastered the world outside, the less we understood the world within ourselves. This book is a journey through that paradox, the rise and fall of moral order, and the quiet voice of conscience that refuses to disappear. It belongs to no single faith or culture. It is a reflection on how all faiths at their core sought to harmonize power with purpose and the human action with the human heart. When we speak of revelation, we speak of reminders, not commands, not commanders to divide, but invitations to remember. The Quran, the Bible, the Torah, each reminds us of something older than tribes, that justice is the language of creation itself. This journey follows how that truth was carried, distorted, rediscovered, and reimagined across empires, revolutions, and modernity. It seeks not only what faith has meant to civilization, but what civilization has done to faith. And perhaps most importantly, it asks, can power ever be moral without humility? Let us begin with the oldest mirror humanity has ever started or stared into, its own history. Let's look at humanity, civilization, and the measure of power. Civilization is not the story of power. It is the story of what power does to us. From the moment the first cities rose beside rivers, humanity longed for more than survival. We longed for permanence. We built walls to guard against chaos and temples to anchor meaning. But in doing so, we learned a dangerous truth. Power can shape the world, but not the soul. Every empire believed itself exceptional. Every age imagined it was the culmination of all others. And yet, time humbles the mighty. The ruins of Nineveh, Rome, Baghdad, all whisper the same warning. No monument outlasts moral decay. As the Quran reminds, we did not create you in vain, but that every soul may know the measure of its deeds. History, then, is not a museum of victories. It is a chronicle of warnings. Civilizations flourishes not when it dominates, but when it disciplines itself. When knowledge serves virtue, wealth serves justice, and faith serves compassion. And yet, we live in an age where knowledge is vast, but wisdom is scarce. When freedom is celebrated, but conscience is optional. Our achievements in science, medicine, and technology are unprecedented, but our moral vision is fragmented. The challenge of the modern world is not ignorance, it is indifference. While the ancients built temples of stone, we have built empires of data. But the question remains, what is it all for? This chapter frames the journey ahead. It asks how faith, civilization, and power, how these forces that have shaped all of human destiny might be reconciled once again. For history shows a simple truth. The world does not fall when knowledge fails, but when conscience sleeps. As we continue, let us listen not only to history, but to the quieter echo within ourselves. For the rise and survival of civilization begins not in their cities, but in their souls. Let's look at the moral architecture of civilization. Every civilization begins as an act of faith. Faith that order can rise from chaos, that meaning can endure against time. It begins not with conquest, but with conviction. When early humanity settled beside rivers and fertile plains, something deeper than agriculture took root. The belief that the world itself carried purpose. Across Mesopotamia, the Nile Valley, the Indus and the Andes, temples rose beside granaries, altars beside marketplaces. The sacred and the practical were never separate. One nourished the body, the other nourished the soul. But as societies expanded, faith hardened into institution, and institutions often drifted into hierarchy. Kings claimed divine mandate. Priests became administrators of eternity, What began as worship slowly turned into authority. In every age, the prophets rose to break that illusion. They stood before thrones and reminded rulers that justice cannot be owned, it can only be upheld. The Torah called it Zedek, justice. The Gospel called it love of neighbor. The Quran called it Adl, the balance that holds the universe together. Civilization, then, is not the height of its towers, nor the size of its armies. It is the alignment of power with purpose. When knowledge, ethics, and governance move in harmony, humanity prospers. When they fracture, decline begins. As the Quran reminds, we have set the balance so that you do not transgress within the balance. The balance is not only natural, it is moral. Every act, every system, every structure must honor proportion. And so, the question returns to us today. Can modern civilization discover that harmony? We have mastered physics, decoded genomes, mapped galaxies, yet we struggle to master ourselves. We can predict the motion of stars, but not the direction of our hearts. Civilization do not endure through technology alone. It endures through moral renewal, through the discovery of responsibility, the discipline of humility, and the willingness to let conscience guide desire. For every age that forgets these truths must relearn them again. And every generation must decide again and again what kind of world it wishes to build. This is the architecture of civilization: stone and scripture, knowledge and restraint, progress held steady by purpose.